It's time for business, and Sandra has joined me. Hello, Sandra.
Hi, Israel. Good evening.
Good evening. What's coming up?
We have a lot to talk about in business. You know, when we went to the
Apart
IMF,
from the data, the IMF data.
Yes, we have Carl Bank trying to go digital as well. But the IMF issue is just a developing one, and we'll be keeping an eye on it and then bring all the reports.
You take it away, Sandra.
All right. Hello, good evening. My name is Sandra Sinamapeno, and I'm here for business. The IMF has lauded government's review of tax exemption laws granted to businesses. This was captured in an article by the IMF country representative to Ghana, Dr. Tuna Mama, on Ghana's relationship with the IMF. He added that the country was in severe crisis before securing a bailout program in 2014. Details in this report.
IMF country representative in his article said it's crucial that everything is done to improve the revenue situation because of its capability to stabilize the economy, adding that reviewing these exemptions would go a long way to reduce large financing needs and lower Ghana's risk of debt distress. Dr. Tunamama argues that technology could offer lots of opportunities in improving revenue as well. The IMF's advice is coming at a time that the London-based Economic Intelligence Unit has also raised questions about the revenue measures and even the reforms, arguing that they are not that robust to help improve on the situation. Government is said to be losing over $2 billion in exemptions granted businesses and investors. Dr. Tunamama in the article is also warning that government needs to deal with its rising expenditure, especially those that are not captured in the budget, to ensure that fiscal situation does not worsen, because it could put a lot of pressure on the Ghana cedi, resulting in some sustained depreciation. On the energy sector, the IMF is warning that it remains a major threat to public finance because of how the sector has been managed over the years. It was, however, optimistic that measures being implemented together with support from the world can help deal with the situation.
So how bad was the situation? Just keep an eye on Joy News. We'll be bringing you all the updates on this very developing story in our subsequent bulletins. To other stories now, Carl Bank Ghana will be deploying more than 2,000 agents across the country as part of the bank's effort to drive its agency banking initiative and to boost deposit mobilization for the bank. The move is part of plans to move away from physical offices to digital operations. Managing Director of Carl Bank, Frank Edu, made the disclosure after commissioning an ultra-modern head office building in Accra. Here is Ebenezer Sabote's report.
Carl Bank is one of the indigenous banks with a strong financial position that survived the kind reforms conducted by the central bank last year. According to the managing director, Frank Edu, its growth strategy is undergoing transformation that will lead to the deployment of about 2,000 agents all over the country to partner in deposit mobilization.
You know, we're moving from bricks to clicks. So this is bricks, but this is the last set of bricks. In all the other places, we are going to have agents, and the plan is to have about 2,000 agents around the country. And these agents would be able to perform at every point what the basic requirements that or products that a branch can deliver. But it allows us to now spread ourselves across the entire country as opposed to being in just selected regions.
Guest of Honor President Akufo-Addo declared government support for local banks to enhance the financial inclusion agenda in the country.
We will work with financial institutions and regulators to promote digital finance and mobile money usage and thereby help formalize the Ghanaian economy. Already, mobile money penetration in Ghana is the second highest in Africa. And with reforms to our payment system, we anticipate that Ghana will have a strong competitive edge in the region for financial innovation and access to credit.
President later cut tape for the commissioning of the ultra-modern head office building. The bank will soon stop relying on the Power Distribution Services Company for its power supply due to the installation of a solar system in the new building. Ebenezer Sabote's report for Joy Business.
Minister of Aviation Kofi Adda says government is considering giving incentives to domestic airlines as a way of enticing them to ply the whole route, while corrections are made on default airstrips at WA. The two facilities have been sitting idle despite being completed in 2017 and 2018 respectively. While speaking to Joy Business, the aviation minister said that few challenges were being addressed to pave way for the operationalization of the two airports.
The WA airstrip was developed and ready for use in 2017. Works included the rehabilitation of an existing structure into a terminal building and the construction of a perimeter fence around the airport. Currently, the airstrip can boast of a 2-kilometer tarmac with a 40-meter width, which makes it capable of hosting Code C-type aircraft, which includes the Boeing 737 and 700 series. Despite this, the facility is yet to be operationalized. Aviation Minister Kofi Adda blamed the development on challenges with some pavement compaction.
I think the main issue with what is that the airlines are concerned about the rating of the compaction. And they have what they call the pavement compaction number that tells you how strong, how good, how convenient, how solid the pavement is for the aircraft to land and take off from. From the initial numbers that we saw, they're not official, looks like they were talking about a number 15 as against a 17th number in Accra and 18th number in Tamale. So the team went there yesterday. I think they started work today. From my understanding, they're going to take a month to finish this up. When they finish, we know whether it's good enough. It meets the standards for the airlines to start going. If it meets, definitely, then we urge them to start operating there.
Meanwhile, the $25 million Ho Airport, which was completed last year, is also sitting idle. The facility has a 1,900 meters runway, traffic control tower, and a 1,150 capacity passenger waiting area.
Ho is the nearness to Accra, and I think the airlines are looking at the commercial bit of it, the viability of it. We've tried some policies to see how we will get traders who are going to Aflao from Kumasi to be able to come to Ho and then go by road to Aflao. But apparently the road between Ho and Aflao is so bad that needs to be done to encourage them to be able to do that. If that happens, immediately they can take a shuttle bus from Ho to Aflao and then come back and take the plane and go to Kumasi. That too, we're in discussion with the airlines. Since these are commercial operations, there's very little that we can do by way of forcing them to get it done. That's why we decided in the ministry that we should make this part of the policy of the new airline to operate within the country.
For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo.
The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources is hinting of plans to establish factories, mills for oil processing. The local news summaries is next.
Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Kweku Asomah has announced that the ministry will establish factories and artisanal mills for processing oil palm to enable farmers to get value for their investments. He said it will tax the municipal chief executives to ensure that the farmers expand their markets and local trading, as well as assist where exports were necessary. Organizations or service providers who collect funds from customers regularly have been urged to explore direct debit to ensure that they have a more efficient way of collecting payments due them from customers. The chief executive of Ghana Interbank Payments and Settlement Systems, Gibbs Achihese, who gave the advice, said direct debits could help companies reduce the cost in collecting recurring payments from customers. The European Union and governments have partnered to hold a forum on boosting investments for sustainable jobs in Ghana. The Ghana EU Business Forum will be held on 13th and 14th June 2019 in Accra.